Hi everyone, Theme Park Tracker here with the first ever Disneyland Resort update for the channel, and I can't wait to start providing even more coverage to California Adventure and Disneyland in the future. Starting things off over in California Adventure, the construction walls to Marvel Land have been extended all the way past the Fast Pass machines for Guardians of the Galaxy. It doesn't look like those Fast Pass machines will be staying as they are completely inaccessible from the guest walkways. The only way to get Fast Pass for Guardians is through Max Pass on your phone, as I was not able to find another temporary location for the machines. The Fast Pass return entrance is through this narrow walkway that leads you to the main entrance. The standby line, however, must go to the left and enter through the farthest side of the standby switchback queue. The setup is somewhat confusing initially, and guests might accidentally go through the Fast Pass line when they're trying to reach the standby line. It is crazy that this wall extends this far, and I have a feeling that those Fast Pass booths will be removed in favor of utilizing as much space as possible for Marvel Land. The entire walkway from the Hyperion Theater to Guardians could possibly receive some new theming as well, like new light posts, as the ones in front of the ride still match Buena Vista Street, and some fixtures are still from Tower of Terror. Standing towards the front of the land, the Spider-Man ride is making huge progress, in which each passing day there's more scrim and scaffolding being added. Looking even closer, we got what looks to be like purple sheathing panels that will be applied to the exterior of the buildings. This is really starting to shape up to what the concept art looks like. If you're looking at it, the red building with the Spider-Man symbol will be the farthest of the two cube-looking buildings. The tallest structure closest to the camera will be the silver one with the glowing light blue panels. This is going to be an exciting next couple of months watching this project unfold, and will be much easier to cover than Galaxy's Edge, which was hidden from all eyes behind the mountains of the Disneyland Railroad. Right now, this is the only structure we see going up in this new land from the guest walkways, and that's basically all that's been shown to us other than a building to your left if you're walking in through Guardians. The highlight attraction will feature Spider-Man, but how they plan to incorporate other heroes and villains not associated with Spider-Man is unknown. Also in California Adventure is an exclusive ride time on Soarin' Over California 1 hour after the park closes. This takes place on Thursdays in July, and you need to be an annual pass holder in order to participate. I found out about this really late into July as it was buried within the Disneyland website, but it's great to see the park offering free events like this to the pass holders. Moving on to one of the newest systems outside of the parks is how parking is currently being handled at the resort. This entire area behind the green barricades is a switchback queue system for guests boarding the trams back to the parking lot at night. Recently, after Pixar Pal's parking structure opened, there's been a massive backup of crowds, usually right after the two big nighttime shows have ended in each park, the Disneyland Forever Fireworks Show and in California Adventure, World of Color. I've heard of guests waiting upwards of 45 minutes to board a tram back to the parking garages. The worst times to catch a tram are now from 9:30 to 10:30, as that's when most guests are leaving the parks after the shows. At around 11 to park closing, everything is pretty much back to normal. During this time, they are only loading 2 stations on the side with the World of Disney store. They have an additional pair of stations on the opposite side that aren't used during this time, which should be a consideration during this peak tram usage. One of the possible reasons that crowds are like this now is because of the added parking spaces of the new structure, meaning more people need to take the tram now to get back. And with the new structure comes a new entrance and exit. The park has just allowed guests to enter the structure through Magic Way. This gives guests another option when they're trying to leave the resort, especially when everyone else is trying to leave at the same time, right after the nighttime shows. The Pixar Pal structure uses the same exit ramps as Mickey and Friends, so there's massive backups when everyone's trying to leave at night. In between the two structures is the new plaza area. The portion behind walls was once the loading area for the trams, and the guests on the walkways to the right were where the tram used to drive on. This is going to look really neat when it's all done, and I'm quite surprised at the amount of trees they put in. The question that remains is, what do they plan on using this area for? Is it to lounge around and offer shaded seating for guests, or will it be a queue system on busy days for the security checkpoint underneath Pixar Pals? One more project happening over at the parking structures, and that is the permanent guest walkway to the downtown Disney district using this new bridge. No longer will guests have to cross multiple streets and walk on narrow city walkways to get to downtown Disney, as they will now have a dedicated route if they choose not to take the tram. This is a much welcome addition, as walking to the park versus taking the tram was always a bit more of a pain because of the fact that you had to use the streets. Last thing to talk about in this update is over in Disneyland at Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. It's minor, but they've added 2 new vending locations in the land. The first is on the right here at the Millennium Falcon Ride Rope Queue. They're just serving what you'd find at the location across from the Droid Depot, which is the round Star Wars Coke bottles and water, along with a few snack options like pre-packaged popcorn from Kat Saka's Kettle Shop. The second location for quick refreshments is to the left of the First Order Cargo Shop, and it serves essentially the same thing as the other. Well, that's all for this update. This was the first one, and I know it seems all over the place, but that will improve. Thank you for watching, and please comment your thoughts down below, and follow the channel for more updates on SoCal theme parks.